Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stout Sunday. I'm filling in for John and Nilly because he's busy today, this Sunday, but it's really stouts, porters and stout Sunday because we look at various porters and stouts. But I have a stout, and I'm in Louisiana, and I'm being joined right now um, by a person in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. But he looks like he's having a little trouble connecting down there. His name is there. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Hi, Jay.
Hello, Michael. Now, Michael's in Brooklyn, New York City, New York on Stout Sunday. And, well, I'll show y'all what I have first. I have something called Narwhal Barrel Aged. Sierra Nevada Barrel Aged Narwhal, which I had never had before. My friend David was saying, we tried that. I said, we never tried it. He said, yes, we did. I said, I'd have made a video if we tried it. And I said, we tried the North Coast Old Rasputin Barrel Age, a few variants of that. And I checked my records. I had never reviewed Narwhal Barrel Aged or had done any videos, but whatever. He might be right.
What's the ABV?
He might be right. 11.9. Yes, and the IBUs are 55.
Okay.
Cheers back to you, John and Nilly. Sorry you can't host today. So we did a duo review yesterday, and I'll tell you about how that came out later. I haven't posted it yet. And I paid $16.99 for the 4-pack. Yes.
I'll have to look for that.
So $4.25 a can for the pint cans. Oh, you have the left-hand Nitro.
6% and 25 IBUs.
Mm-hmm. I'll look it up and show the website later. I like to show the website. I think it makes it interesting for the viewers. Let's see. I don't know how y'all feel about it.
No, I think it's good. It's good information, and people get to see things maybe they didn't otherwise know about the beers, which is a good thing.
Okay, I'm about to bring up this video, this website. Got a little echo going on there, I'm afraid. I
will mute myself until I'm...
Okay, yes, I am of drinking age. All right, so that site, let's see. We got probably maybe some other people joining too. So now we'll go to the opening the can part. So I tried it yesterday with David, and I haven't done a solo review yet. And this is the showcase review of it on Stout Sunday. So I still have yet to record a solo review, but I got 2 cans left. When David left yesterday, I'll give you an indication of what he thought about it. When David was leaving yesterday, I said, well, don't you want to take a can of the Narwhal Barrel Aged and the Heady Topper? He said, no, I don't want them. I don't know how many people turned down free Heady Topper and Narwhal, but he did. Okay, now I'm going to do the pour, and then I'll show the screen. So I usually use this glass for porters and stouts. I don't know if it's proper, but it's a cocktail glass. It seems to show the beer nicely. Give a good showcase for the beer. I'm pouring it straight in. And as you can see, it's giving a very thick beige head of foam and a very dark brown appearance. You may as well say black, but we were sitting out with direct sunlight over us yesterday with a perfectly clear sky like today. You could pick up a little brown, not a whole lot. Now I'm going to do the screen share part for the viewers and for Michael, so you can look at the website. Hopefully y'all can see it now. You could try talking again, Michael, and see if it's not echoing or whatever.
Okay, you let me know I
So,
think I've had the narwhal in the past, but it's been a while.
but was it the narwhal or the barrel aged narwhal?
I'm not sure. Maybe the one I had was just the straight narwhal. I may not have
So
had the barrel aged variety.
they're showing a tulip glass. I have a glass like that, but I didn't use it. And they're showing the pretty barrel. Look like brand new barrels in the background. That just could be a photo that they found. It says, the mysterious beast grows more intense. And get this beer. So there's a locator tool here, which you could use for New York City. And
Right.
availability, 16-ounce cans. That's it. Now, there's a whole bunch of talk. We're not going to read all that.
Yeah. Notes of oak and vanilla. A lot of the typical things in barrel-aged stouts that are there.
Coconut, dark chocolate espresso. It doesn't have any chocolate or espresso in it. So here's the ingredients: malts, caramelized malts, chocolate, carafa 3, honey, roasted barley malt, and two-row pale malt. Two-row pale. So they got some pale and dark mixed in. The hops are Challenger and Magnum, and the ale yeast, of course. And they don't say whose barrels. I think it's a blend. I read, David was reading, I don't know if it was an official site, though. He was reading that they use a blend of different whiskey barrels. It could be anything. And there's photos of them with the beer going in the barrels and whatnot. Yeah, you're starting a reverb again. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll go on.
Could be your system. I can't say much because my system causes me to lag sometimes. Like, to me, it'll sound fine and I'll see it fine, but other people are seeing a lag. Funny thing is, a lot of times when I play it back, it's not showing it on the recorded version. Okay, nutrition, 300, 370 calories. I hope that's for the pint and not just a 12-ounce. 11.9, 55. So not too bitter, but very alcoholic. See, they I noticed on all the videos and photos, they obscure the name of the bourbon barrels, so they're not wanting you to know. So I guess we're not going to worry about it. So that's a screen share for that. And now I'll go to Michael, then I'll screen share his product.
So if hopefully the reverb won't get worse.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing, Michael.
Yes.
I checked barrel-aged narwhal versus the regular narwhal. And in case people think barrel-aged narwhal is simply narwhal aged in barrels, it's not. It's different ingredients, actually. It's the same name, but it's not the same beer. It has different hops and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting.
So it's possible if I had the straight narwhal, it's completely different than what you're drinking altogether. I mean, it's not
completely, yeah, it's not completely different, but it is altered. It's not the same ingredients. Not quite. Okay. But we're not going to.
All right, so I'm going to do your typical nitro straight down the middle pour.
Okay.
And let's see what we got. Yeah, as you look, I don't know in this light if you can see it or not, in the center section, you're getting a lot of nitro action as it comes up. And again, like yours, it's dark brown with I would say my color is a little bit more mocha.
Yeah.
But you can see the creaminess in the head. So you can tell that a nitro product gives you that creamy look, and the full finger head and, a little bubble action on the top. But you can see it's a nice looking beer in my Blue Point glass.
Oh. No, they got bought out.
Isn't that an InBev company? Oh no. We got the story. All those investment dollars will help their distribution in the future. So anyway, it looks really good in the glass. And I think the head is going to be here for a while too, just the way it looks. It's not something that's going to fade away. And again, we're talking about 6%, so it's not high alcohol. It's a little bit more than a session, but not a lot.
Yeah,
So you're going to go with your description. I'll mute myself.
I'm going to show the screen share on yours in a moment. I was going to say something. try to buy out another buyout, AB InBev buyout beer the other day. I posted it this morning. It's called Breckenridge Christmas Ale, and it's been on the market since 1993. They got bought out 6 years ago. Well, maybe it got worse since the buyout, but I'll tell you what, I scored it like a 96 or whatever. So I can't imagine what it would have been before the buyout, because it was a dynamite product, that Breckenridge Christmas Ale, 7.1% alcohol. It was just rocking and rolling, and I was so glad to get it at a local store. Well, 25 miles away, local store, I guess, between 20 and 25 miles away. All right, so now I'm going to screen share your website so people can, and you can unmute if you want to help direct the people through the site.
Got it. There we go. Two-row crystal, chocolate, Munich, rolled oats, flaked barley, and roasted barley are the malts. CTZ and USA Goldings. Goldings, I think, are a British hop, but I guess these are grown in the United States.
Right.
And there's lactose added, which is not surprising. A lot of nitros do add lactose, which I guess you'd call a smoothing agent to make it
creaminess,
creamy.
and the nitro will smooth it. Look at the available.
Wow.
Cans, bottles, and draft.
And year round. So this is one of their regular items.
And there's a convenient beer finder right here. And then there's a video that they made showing, I guess, them talking about it, which we're not going to watch. And awards, I don't see any. Oh, Commonwealth Craft Beer Cup in 2014. So not a whole lot of awards, only one, but then they're showing what else you might like. So a very good website, user-friendly.
And they're in Longmont, Colorado, which I'm not sure exactly what part of Colorado that is. Most of the breweries seem to be in the greater Denver area, though.
Longmont.
Brian could tell you.
There was a guy that used to hang out with us I think he was from Longmont.
Brian and Chatty are both from the Aurora, Colorado area, which I think is a suburb, still in greater Denver.
Kind of like Westchester to New York.
Right.
City. But that guy used to have some good insights on beer, but he got mad and stopped hanging out with us over some trivial ridiculousness, of which there's too much of that in the beer world. Trivial ridiculousness. All right. But anyway, what can you do? You can't do.
Well, if you think about it, Jay, during the whole time I've known you, we've lost a lot of people. That nice guy from Indiana, who we really liked, he was on for a long time at the beginning, and then he just kind of had his own thing, and then he just drifted away.
And with no explanation of why.
Didn't say anything to anybody, just kind of like dropped out. And there's not much you can do if people no longer want to be involved. We understand. Tyler was more involved before he moved to Seattle, but I guess that was change of his job. But he still is on the beer sites and keeps in touch. So
beer talk, yeah, he's always letting us know what he's drinking. Yeah, Longmont. Looks like Longmont is about 25 to 30 miles northwest of Denver along United States Highway 287, which is an incredibly long highway that runs from Port Arthur, Texas to the Canadian border.
Yeah, these national highways that go from like coast to coast or north to south are amazing distance highways. What about US 1, which goes all the way from the coast of Maine all the way down to the Florida Keys, right? To
the very end of Key West, Florida. Everybody goes down there. If you go to Key West, it's funny because, and I drove down there twice, and everybody's taking turns taking a photo in front of the sign that says the number 1 Shield Highway 1, and then it says end. It doesn't say north or south. It just says end. So they all want to take their photo by the end of the highway.
The other choice is to dive into the water. It's right there.
You'd be sliced to bits by that coral. The coral is.
I know that. I've been there. I've been to Key West. so I know. I was there on a cruise, but I've been there.
Clear water, huh?
I'll tell you, the cruises were good, except that you're just in and out of places so fast, you really don't get a chance to look around and visit. And also, when you're on the boat itself, you have to push yourself away from eating because all the food is really good. And, the midnight buffets. And I mean, it's just like constant. You just, if you want to eat, it's a value. But how much can you eat?
And if you're on a diet, it would be a disaster.
No, no dieter should ever go on a cruise. You can't. It's hard to stay away. But and one day of each each day you do eat a really good meal with your regular group of people you hang out with, and that's cool. But when you consider all the other stuff that's around the rest of the day, how much can you eat? I mean,
I wouldn't want to go because I wouldn't want to eat all that. Yeah, right. US 50, Ocean City, Maryland, all the way to California. Right. Okay. It's a long one. Okay. Now to get to the product. I guess I'll just go full screen because with only two people.
Okay, no problem.
With only two people, you don't really need a line.
Is my reverb better?
It has cleared up.
Good.
I don't know if you're using the most modern computer system. I can assure you I am not. My computer is from 2015. But
I've had mine 10 years, so mine's old too.
But I'm not going to get rid of it until it breaks. I just hope it doesn't break when I have a bunch of videos saved to it. That'd be bad. Like if I had done like Pliny the Elder and it broke and I couldn't do that video. All right. If it was Bud Light or something, I wouldn't care. Here we go. I filled it to the brim. I filled it to the rim with brim, not brim. I filled it to the rim with narwhal barrel age. Aroma. It was down to 48 degrees last night. So this is a good beer for fall. I don't know about summer. Bourbon smell. I can't say because it doesn't say it's bourbon barrel, it just say whiskey barrels. And not all whiskey is bourbon. There's a faint barrel nose, but it's not real strong in that. And David and I were talking about aging beer and liquor barrels yesterday, and we both agreed we didn't really like that. I mean, we review enough of them, by golly, but we don't really love that idea. And you might say that's strange because y'all are all forever tasting whiskey this and rum that and brandy this, and you tasting beer. That's true, but it doesn't mean we necessarily like them blended. I like ice cream and I like sardines, but I wouldn't really want to drink them together or eat them together. Okay, but anyway, personal preference issue. Doesn't make you a bad person because you don't love barrel aged beers. But we review things as they are, not as we want them to be. Okay. You get the whiskey barrel taste. And like David remarked in the Duo review, it's like when you were eating those little candies as a kid and they had the liquor inside. And I remember my grandma would buy those and they always tasted nasty to me because it's like you'd bite and then the rum or brandy or whiskey would come out and it would ruin the good chocolate flavor. As a 3-year-old, it's ruining the flavor. But it's kind of like that reminiscence of that. I never see those liquor candies anymore, to tell you the truth.
We have some that we bought at Costco.
Oh. Couldn't do beer candies because beer would turn rancid, inside the candy, but the liquor would, and it would go flat. I guess it would go flat. Body is thick. The mouthfeel is thick. The body's heavy. It's velvety mouthfeel. It's syrupy. 200. What did I say? 370 calories or whatever. You could just feel yourself gaining weight drinking this beer. It's a dessert beer. It is not I'm going to drink a few. You would be making a horrendous mistake to drink more than one, in my opinion. A calamity. Use some kind of judgment. Yeah, you could drink 2 over, like, say, now and then later this afternoon. But to sit there and just drink it like it's Miller High Life would make any sense, but people do that. Okay, now going on. Oh, you can see the lacing is very thick around the rim. It's just like a sheet, a film.
Are you getting, Jay, any oak or let's see, what are some of the other side things that
A
they seem
little of
to
that
be?
vanilla from the oak, cream, coffee, chocolate, and remember it has no cream or coffee or chocolate. Um, Generalized whiskey, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The finish is semi-dry. Sweetness level, let's see. Sweetness, that's where we got into a little bit of argument yesterday on the sweetness thing. He was saying, I don't think this thing's sweet at all. And I said, I think it's sweet. I think it's sweet like a cake or fudge. 4 out of 5 sugar cubes. But he didn't agree. One thing we did notice, well, I noticed yesterday, not really noticing it now, there was a chalkiness. You'll notice that when you get beers above 10% or above, they'll start to evidence of chalk. And they're really glaring in the lagers because, lagers can't hide those kind of things because they're so thin. So like if you drink a high gravity lager above 8.5 or 8, it'll start having this chalk. Like, what is this chalkiness? I mean, it's got no chalk in it, but a big chocolate stout with coffee, it's going to hide it. This one doesn't have that, so it's not hiding it so well. But I'm not picking that up right now, and I'm glad. Michael, if you see it for $16.99, I think you should buy it.
I would buy it for sure.
I'm going to give it a good score, but I mean, it was kind of a controversy yesterday when we did the duo. It was like really a controversy as the whole day went on because, I mean, when to say, no, I don't want a free can of it. I was like,
but it's funny. David has such a huge collection of stuff that he already has. Maybe he doesn't want to add anything more to it. I don't know.
Yeah, and in fact, that's a good point because before he came over, you know what he was talking about? I got to do something with this museum. I said, yeah.
You should start drinking it.
Right. I said, like, maybe drink it. He's like, yeah, we need to work on that. I said, I've been hearing that since 2016. We need to work. We do work on it a little bit, but it's like little chips. And I said, you realize that there's a tipping point where these beers that are 10, 12% and are aging and getting quality and gaining quality, they're going to start to lose it. And then you're going to taste them. They're going to taste like old, worn out, yucky beer. And he knows that. But I kid with him. I say, you're a hoarder. You have hoarding mentality. He never argues and says, I'm wrong. He'll say, I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, all right.
I don't know if you were on. I was on one of the broadcasts and I was talking because I had seen somebody with this Foothills beer from Winston-Salem, this sexual chocolate it's called. Anyway, somebody had one from 2010 and they were drinking it now. And what happened was it had turned to vinegar.
Oh,
they waited too long. Now 10 years is a long time to wait. It's a 9.6% beer. It's not a 12 or a 13, but usually beers over 8% you can cellar, but it doesn't mean you're cellaring them for life. You have to drink them before they totally fade. And I would say on a beer like that, you shouldn't hold it more than 3 or 4 years. Once you get past then, you're asking for trouble.
I drank a German lager that was out of date and spoiled, and it made me get like ill, like literally sick, not feeling sick, but like actual sick. I won't go into detail, but
you can get sick because what happens is everything separates, and some of the components can get you physically ill. So whatever. Okay, so anyway, getting to this milk stout, the only difference in it sitting around is the head has declined a little bit, still very much there. And if you look at it, you can see the creaminess in the head, and you're getting this constant retention because it's going around, and the head is still holding up really well. There's very nice carbonation in this as well, and you can just see the creaminess in the top as it sticks to the side of the glass, which is very nice. Let me get a nose on it. Okay, you're getting roasted malts, but it's almost like the roasted malt smell is toned down by whatever they did, and the nitro maybe, I'm not sure. It's there, but it's not as strong as it would be in a regular 6% milk stout that's not nitro. So I mean, the nitro effect does tone down the aroma. Not getting much else other than that kind of, roasty kind of smell, but I'll take a sip. Cheers.
Cheers. I forgot to say cheers. I'm going to have to kick myself off my own show.
Okay, so the best part about this, it is so super smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, the nitro effect in that way is just substantial, and it's really wonderful. And the beer itself is well brewed, because now when you're tasting it versus smelling it, it's getting more intense in the flavor. And you can taste the roasted malts. You're getting maybe undertones, a little bit of some chocolate and maybe some coffee as well, but they're definitely undertones. They're not direct flavors. So what this is, and again, this would be an okay entry beer for somebody. Now, I'm not telling somebody who's only drank macros to try this as their first beer, because it still has some intensity, but the intensity you're getting is minor compared to some of the other stouts where you really taste that dark roasted malt and it's really upfront. This one is more an undertone thing, but if you like very creamy, very smooth, something which you can, really, if you want to take a gulp of this, there's no problem doing it. It's 6%. The 25 IBUs, you really don't taste any bitterness in this at all. So, I mean, that's 25 is relatively low, but there's, it's not like it's not bitter at all, but it's like on your scale, I don't know, maybe 2 out of 5 on the bitterness,
which is
not more than that, maybe 1.5.
Relatively low,
And the 6% you can't taste at all. This could be, this could be a soda, and it goes down that well, and it's that smooth. So maybe the lactose is helpful in toning the alcohol down as well. But I highly recommend this, and the nitro experience is much different if you're used to drinking carbon dioxide beers, which is what pretty much everything else is, because it's just it's a smooth, and that combined with the lactose really makes it an interesting drinking experience. So if you haven't had nitro, this would be a good one to pick up. Other companies also make nitro, and this is one that's in a bottle, not in a can, so there's no widget in this. It's when you pour it, that action brings out the nitro in it.
My friend David, he says he doesn't like nitro beer of any kind. And I said, I don't understand. You're one of the few people I've ever met that don't like nitro beer. He said, it makes it taste flat. It makes it flat. I said, I don't find it makes it taste flat. It makes it creamy.
The carbonation is not as intense as other beers I've had, but why do you want intense carbonation in every product you drink? I mean, it's nice to have it toned down a little bit.
It's not prickly carbonation.
No, it's just, if you look at the way it's sitting here, you can see how well carbonated it is, but it's not the kind when you sip it where it's like on your tongue, where sometimes you have carbonation that's so prickly, it's intense. This one's not that way. Yeah. I'll tell you, Jay, I love the smoothness. Now, I'm not going to only drink nitro, but certainly nice as a side light and to do it every once in a while.
Now, talking about nitro real quick. Yeah, right. You do it sometimes. Now, I know you like the Guinness Nitro.
I do, and the Murphys too.
The Murphys, and they should make a Guinness Foreign Extra Stout Nitro. That's a good idea. Don't steal that from me, Guinness. Of course, I guess you could steal it because I'm never going to make it. I don't have a brewery. Have you ever tried the famous Boddington's Pub Ale Nitro can?
I have. I like that too.
How about Wexford Irish Cream Nitro?
I don't think I've ever had that.
Wexford. I had a chance to buy that the other day. Wexford. That's a different type of product. It's like totally unrelated to what you're drinking right now, but it's different. It's interesting.
If I see that, I would buy it.
Yeah, Wexford. They usually sell it in 4-packs. Now, what do you think of? Now, second question I have. You find the Doppelbocks don't have a chalky taste. I think the dark roast malts has a lot to do with it. Good point.
I'm trying to think. I've had several Doppelbocks. I've never thought of them as being chalky, although I don't know.
But usually Doppelbocks are running around 8.5 to 10.
They're higher alcohol for sure.
Yeah, you get these lagers that are up into 12, 13, 14, 15%. Those things is like you're eating chalk from a school chalk box.
Yeah, it's almost like when you hit that intense alcohol level, it's very hard to tone down the effect of it. I think that's why you do get that chalkiness, whatever. So what do you think the chalkiness was yesterday when you were doing this in this beer? You think it was just
well, it could have been a situation where I don't know, but we did a mystery beer first, Bush beer. He couldn't guess it. He had no clue. But he did know that he thought it was a C plus and he was being generous. And his final statement was, I would never drink this beer. He said, in fact, I don't drink this beer. And now I know why I don't drink it. Secondly, we did the Heady Topper. And I'm not sure if you should follow Heady Topper with Narwhal barrel aged stout, but
sometimes it's the combination that you do that affects, your taste, because like you say, you're drinking New England style double IPA and then heading into a barrel aged stout. It's kind of a hard transition for sure.
Right. So we were kind of like just going after it, one after the other, bam, bam, bam. Then he said, let's take a break and eat these meat pies, which we did. And then it was more bam, bam, So I mean, that could be it.
I guess so. Look, I've done that before too, where I've had different styles one after the other, and it does sometimes change. I don't know. Were you drinking water in between too to kind of clear your palate?
No,
because sometimes that can help because your palate is getting overwrought with all the different combinations, and if you drink water, it can clear it. But it doesn't always work, I have to say.
Yeah, it just didn't seem to matter. I don't know. I'm getting a little chalkiness now that you're talking about it. Okay, second question I had. What do you think about the price for the Nitro, left-hand Nitro milk stout? I just looked it up. They're selling it for $10.99 a 6-pack. You think that's a fair price, $10.99?
I think that's a fair price. Now, it's funny. I got these in one of these. You've heard me mention these mystery 12-packs at the Co-op where they sell it for 89 cents a beer, but you don't know what you're getting. So if you figure that out, that's only that's less than $6 a 6-pack, which is really nice. But I have to be fair. You always get some stuff that you're not happy with. So, I mean, it's not all good. In other words, they're giving you some good stuff. About half, about 6 of them are good to really good. And then another 3 are questionable. And there's usually like a throw in that it's probably worth it 89 cents, but it's not stuff I'm interested in. Like have you had Stone Delicious IPA, which is their gluten reduced?
They must be trying to be comical with that name because it's anything but delicious. It's nasty.
Okay, so in the last one I got, they threw 3 of those in. It is 7.7% alcohol. So if you just drink it to get drunk, then it's great. But it's gluten reduced, and you can taste that it's gluten reduced in the taste, and that's not good. We need gluten in our beer.
It's terrible.
You take the gluten, or you reduce it even if you don't take it out. But if you reduce the gluten, you lose something in the translation. So what I'm reducing that beer to now is if I'm going to have a second beer, that's my second beer. I drink something else good, and then I wash it down with that beer. So I'm not going to throw it away.
It's one of the worst beers I've ever tried, and I've tried some bad ones.
So I'm not happy even for 89 cents with that beer. But look, it came in a 12-pack, and they gave you 3, and whatever. I also, that there's what's the Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch has a sorghum product. I forgot the name. It's have you ever heard of it?
Redbridge.
Okay. Not in this batch, but in another mystery 12-pack, I got 3 of those, and they're disgusting. I mean, it's bad. Sorghum, just don't use it in beer. If you want to use sorghum and other stuff, do it. It's not for beer, and that's it. All right, so that actually disgusted me. I still drank them. They were bad.
They were bad. Now when we drank these weird Trader Joe's Minhas Brewing beers from what's the name of the place that makes it? I guess
I know what you're talking about.
Rhinelander. It's all Minhas. It's all, but it's called Rhinelander Brewery in Monroe, Wisconsin. Those things have a lot of like strange negatives associated with them, but then you figure out they're only 85 cents a can. But when you drink something like Stone Delicious, it makes those weird Trader Joe's Minhas Rhinelander beers look like they are world class. Now that's a good reference point. You know, you drink that chocolate stout in the can, you know, it's all right. But compared to Stone Delicious, it's awesome. That's the way I feel about it.
But think about who the brewer is. Stone brews some really miraculous beers. So it's not like they have to do that Stone Delicious, but they do it, and it's bad. Right? It's real bad. I would, as a matter of fact, I don't think I'm going to buy the mystery boxes anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to get more of it. And that's it. And again, you pay more in the cup if you buy what you know, because then it gets more into the $12 a 6-pack area, 11 like you're mentioning, which would be the regular price. But to get 3 of these, I thought was a really good deal.
You see, it's a smart thing that they're doing. It's a way to unload junk that nobody will buy. You see,
but they're giving you some good stuff too, because if they
right,
gave
that's
you
the bait. That's the bait.
If they were giving you 6 of those, you wouldn't buy any.
Nobody would buy the mystery.
They wouldn't do it because they'd say, "Boy, this stuff is awful." But it's happened. I've gotten that Delicious twice, and you get it a couple of times. And they're giving you 3. It's not like they're giving you 1. In this last one I got, there was also the Victory Sour. Their main one, not the monkey, not Sour Monkey, the other one, their regular beer, the regular monkey, whatever it's called. So but they only gave me one.
The
golden monkey.
Golden monkey.
Right. But they only gave me 1. Now why couldn't they give me 3 of those instead of Stone?
Because they're trying to get rid of the products that nobody will buy.
Well, the other ones, I guess, because that if you buy a single bottle costs $2. So this way they're giving it to you for 90 cents. So that's a good deal.
I'll tell you an interesting. Oh, and by the way, here's the actual Rhinelander beer that we surely cannot get in Louisiana. I think I have 2 cans of this. And I bought them up north. Like this one, I bought it like these what you call it, flea markets. But I actually have a can that's the actual product, but I bought it up north. But they apparently in Wisconsin it's sort of common. But this is the actual Rhinelander. And what is it, a good lager? I mean, it's okay. Compared to Stone Delicious, it's great. This is this is from the 70s, of course. You can tell.
It's a metal can for openers.
It's the steel
can.
They roll it and they hold it together with the 2 ends. It's a sheet of steel and they roll it, and the way it holds together is these 2 clips. If you pulled these ends off, the whole thing would come unwound.
I have a Schaefer can like that.
Yeah. So it's from Monroe, Wisconsin. This company is really old. I mean, it's really old. They've been in business since like the 1840s, but they're not popular. But somehow they needed business, so they made a deal with Trader Joe's, and there they are, off to the races. But they even sell some regular lager and light lager down in New Orleans. And they give it a name called, it's some name that screams store brand. You know what I mean? It's like.
So where would you find it? What kind of stores?
Big grocery stores, and they sell it for $5. $5 a 6-pack, something like that. So it's
like the Trader Joe's lower brands.
Yeah, they just said to Rouse's Grocery, "Hey, you want to buy this stuff?" And they were like, "Well, okay." But I don't think Rouse is going to make a second reorder because I don't think it sold too well. I bought it. It was all right. But
that would be something that Matherns would not carry because they're a little bit higher level when it comes to beer.
Yeah, they would probably tell they would, if their salesman came to them, they'd say, well, we don't really deal with that kind of stuff. But if you could find us some Smithwick's in a can, Smithwick's tall cans, and you can get us a pallet of those, we'll buy it, which they did one time. But they'd say, well, no, we don't have that, Anyway, yeah, they do.
I guess they're happy to get the distribution that they get through Trader Joe's because it's a national company almost. I mean, it's not in every state, but it's in several states. And that way you do get your brand distribution. And that's a good thing for Minhas. And I agree with you. You'd have to say they're average beer. That's exactly what they are. They're not wonderful. They're not horrible. The lagers are average. And, actually, but I would rather drink a Minhas lager than I would a Stone gluten-free delicious, because it's far from delicious. It's like David Cassie just says, yuck. It's yucky.
Or a Red Bridge.
Or a Red Bridge also. But again, for the most part, even the bad beers that they have, you still can drink them. The Red Bridge I didn't like at all, because the sorghum taste, I just couldn't get that out of my mouth. It was bad.
Okay. All right. So I was telling my friend David, I said, man, we ought to take a road trip and go up to Wisconsin. We could tour the Miller Brewery, and we know what to expect there. And then we could go to the Rhinelander or Minhas or whatever they call it this week in Monroe and tour that, because they give tours, and then they have this like brew pub where they have food and they have tastings. And the thing about it, you pay a certain amount of money. You have to pay. It's not free. You pay. But then what I was looking at on their website, you get a pretty good amount of beers. They'll say, well, you try this. And but they give you all their Wisconsin beers, like their regular regional beers, like Joseph Huber. It used to be called Joseph Huber, but they got bought out by Minhas. But they still and he was telling me, yeah, I'd like to do that. That'd be pretty fun, because we've done other brewery tours in Houston, Texas, and those were really good. Well,
you could go to Chippewa Falls and visit Jacob Leinenkugel.
Right. I said, if we're gonna, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I said if we're gonna go up there, we can do the Miller Brewery in Milwaukee, then go over to Chippewa Falls, and then on the way back go to Minhas, Joseph Huber, and that would be pretty interesting. And he was saying, yeah, I'd like to do that.
And you could do some sports stuff too. You could go to Green Bay and visit their famous stadium, Lambeau Field.
Yeah, we go to Milwaukee and visit the Milwaukee Brewers. He doesn't really like going to games. He'll go to games. He likes the experience of being at the game with all the crowd and all the stuff to look around at.
But he's not really a big baseball fan per se.
Right, but he'll say, look at that. Look how they set that up over there. I like how that is. And then when the game starts, after about 2 innings, he says, hey, you ready to leave? I said, well, the game just started. What are you talking about? Well, I mean, nobody really likes to watch baseball. I said, I do. So we've had big conflicts over that, and then he'll say, you're a fanatic. You want to watch the whole game. You're a fanatic. I say, yeah, well, I mean, I bought the ticket.
You're a baseball fan. There's nothing wrong with that. He's just not a baseball fan.
I'll tell you a funny story, and then we'll do the scores. When we went 2 years ago. That was a great trip without a whole lot of fighting. 2 years ago, we went to Memphis, which is 5.5 hours from here, not really that far, to go see Tulane playing at Memphis. Of course, they lost. Well, Tulane beats Memphis, and then they lose to them. Then they beat them, and they lose to them. It was like that back and forth thing. All right, so we went up to Memphis. So we went to the hotel, which was questionable. But we went there. It was all right, but it was in a bad area of town. So we went there, and then David says, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. So we went and drove to this barbecue joint across the street from Elvis Presley's old house. We bought all this barbecued food. Well, he loved it. I mean, it was great. It was awesome. Really, I had to admit that. So we went to church for Saturday afternoon, Mass. We went to church over there, and that was very interesting. Then we went, and we had a little trouble finding the stadium, but we found the stadium, and we got tickets and parked for free, I might add. So we went to this big stadium. It's called the Liberty Bowl. It's big. I mean, it's pretty big. Over 60,000 seats. So we went in there, and he was, as usual, interested. Oh, wow, this is really interesting. And so Tulane started getting killed. And he's like, well, you ready to leave? I said, no, I paid $30 for the ticket. I'm not leaving. Oh, I'm leaving. I said, well, I ain't leaving. Oh, I'm leaving. He was like getting enraged. So he left. I was like, bye. So he just stormed out of the stadium and left. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So he went back into the it's a funny story. He went back into the neighborhood where we had parked, and there were these people on the street barbecuing, all kind of barbecue. He starts talking to him. So by the time I left the game, when it was totally out of hand, I caught up with him. There he was. He's eating barbecue. Hey, I got ribs. I got sausage. I got steak. He's like, you want some?
He made a new group of friends.
So then he gave the people money. See, they weren't, you see, this is how the people got around these state inspectors, the health inspectors, because they weren't charging anybody for the barbecue. They were just,
in other words, you could tip them is what
in other words, they were barbecuing. And he went up and said, what do y'all have? And they told him, yeah, man, you want some barbecue? Anything you want, you can have it. So they fixed him a huge plate. And he said, let me give y'all some money for this. Oh, no. It's on us. No, let me give you some money. Well, it's like a little game, you know what I mean? A game. So he gave him the money, and no state health inspectors can come by and say, you're selling barbecue without a license, because what could the people say?
No, it comes as a tip. He's tipping them because he tried their barbecue kind of thing instead of buying it.
Right. So the people could say, we're not selling it. What are you talking about?
He's tipping us. He liked what we did, and he's tipping us, and that's it.
Right. So we drove back to the hotel, and we ate the food, which was incredible. And then David said, all right, you want to do some beer reviews? Well,
I was going to say, by then, David was so full of barbecue, you figure, how could he get beer down? But yeah, I guess he has room.
He made it. So it was Saturday night, fun time. But anyway, those are fun stories. But yeah, he's not a big sports fan. He likes like he told me, he said, I like the experience of like going and visit the stadium and seeing all the people and looking around. But to sit there and look at this game, he said, I can't take it. I can't take all that, Okay, let's look at the comments, then we'll do the scores. We used to get victory beers in Louisiana, and I think the last victory beer I did was the Storm King, which was such a good beer. I remember Storm King was so good, and I thought, I can't wait to try the next victory beer. I never saw a victory again in Louisiana. Disgusting.
How about Trogs? Do you get Trogs?
The only Trogs I ever saw in my life in Louisiana. Oh, no. Take that back. Never mind. I was on a road trip and I bought Troganator,
which is their Doppelbock,
which was great.
It's a good beer.
But a guy from Pennsylvania named Wayne, who's on Alcohol Eggs all the time, Wayne Allen, sent me Trogs. Mad Elf.
Yeah, that's their Belgian Christmas beer.
And I heard it's really good. So I've got that in the fridge waiting for review.
You'll enjoy that.
I went to a barbecue place when I went to Memphis. Oh, yeah. Memphis barbecue.
Memphis is known for its barbecue.
It was really good. We went back to the hotel and he's like, you want to try some of this? And I was like, well, I'll try it. I was like, man, that's the best barbecue I ever tried in my life. You can do a drive-by view from those side streets on the other side of I-95 Zoo exit heading west. Well, we didn't do a drive-by. We went into the neighborhood and parked. And Well, anyway, all right. Enough personal experience stories.
I've never been in Memphis. I've been in Nashville. I've been in Chattanooga. I've been in Knoxville, but I've never been in Memphis.
Memphis is pretty big. It's next to the Mississippi River, of course. It's sort of
it borders with Mississippi, right? In other words, Memphis is on the Mississippi line.
Arkansas.
On the Arkansas line, okay.
To the west. If you go south, it's on the Mississippi line. So it's 3 states.
Are all together right in that spot.
Yeah, right in 3 miles. But if you go to Memphis, it's kind of poor, like New Orleans, a lot of poverty. So if you're looking for like real clean, beautiful manicured lawns, you'll see that, but you mostly won't see that.
And it's the place that Elvis chose. He was from Tupelo, Mississippi, but he chose to live in Memphis.
Well, his parents did. His father had a job up there, and
that's where his estate is. Graceland is there.
Elvis Presley grew up in the housing projects, and so it's kind of a rough area where he grew up. But he grew up in the housing projects. He drove a delivery truck, and then on the side, he did singing. He didn't probably think it was going to go anywhere, but it did, as we know. So
it's funny, Jay. I liked Elvis as a singer. When I watch his movies, though, he was the most horrible actor. I mean, he was bad. And you can only have so much of your personality and whatever carry you. Because, in other words, some people it comes naturally to them, acting. It didn't come naturally to him. I don't want to be unfair to him. It's not like I dislike him. It's just you watch his movies and I just can't get into them. I like when he's singing, but when he's acting, it's like it's not good.
Yeah, he made 30 movies. Every one of the movies made money. They all turned a profit. But he said by 1969, he said, I can't do these movies anymore. They're horrible. They have terrible storylines.
He even admit they would like typecasting him, making him look kind of buffoony in a way, his characters that he played. But he was not a good actor. That's not one of his claims.
Yeah, he said, I can't do this. He said he would see the videos, like they would show little clips of it. He said he would throw up. He would puke. He said, I can't.
But he was a great singer, even though he did not write most of the material he did.
None of the material. Yeah, he wasn't a writer. But he said
he was a good singer, and he had a good personality. He was handsome and charismatic and came across well. But he just was not a good actor.
Yeah, those movies are not the best.
Audrey's dad used to love him. My wife Audrey's dad used to love Elvis movies. And sometimes we'd watch old ones. I said, what do you like about this? Well, I like Elvis. Okay, I guess you can like him. It's okay. Whatever. And like you say, he made 30 movies. It wasn't like it was 1 or 2. So,
30.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, his house is on the major highway through the south part of town. The town, it's kind of a dead area. If you go over there, there's a lot of abandoned buildings. It's like car dealerships that used to be open, old grocery stores that are closed. There is a grocery store that is still open. And we went in there and David went crazy. It was kind of funny to see him going crazy. He was like, look, they got this, they got that, they got this. And it was like, he was buying everything. He's like, let's buy it all. Buy it all. We're going to buy it all. And
we only have so much room in the truck. We can't take everything.
He went crazy. So it was funny, And then he didn't care about going to the man's house. But I did tour the house once. But that was a fun trip. I'll admit it was a fun trip, except for the big argument about leaving the game early. But anyway,
so what kind of number do you have on the barrel-aged narwhal?
Well, it's kind of one of those, you ever well, you don't have a video channel, so you don't have to worry about it, but you ever reviewed something where you thought, man, I gotta say it, but what I really want to say, I'm scared to say it because people might get angry,
Like you say, Jay, you have to tell it like it is, and you got to give it straight, and however you feel is how you feel.
All right, let me put the banner. Narwhal barrel aged.
Hopefully I could look for it and find it. I probably just had the straight narwhal before. I probably never had the barrel aged.
Okay, I like it a lot, but it's not that great. It's good, and I enjoy it, and I would buy it again, theoretically at least, for $16.99 a 4-pack. If someone told me, "Hey, don't you want to take a free can?" I would say, "Yeah." I mean, David Garlapete is probably the only person on planet Earth that would turn down Heady Topper and Narwhal barrel aged, but he did. He said, "I don't want that." I was like, "All right, I don't want that. I got my natural ice that I'm drinking." I said, "Okay."
Jay, to each his own. Like you say, it's not like he doesn't have good beer at home. He
Right.
can go into his museum and he could drink forever and not finish it.
Yeah, I can't say too much because he'll drink stuff like natural ice and then he'll turn around and drink stuff that would like blow people's minds, like just drink it regularly. So I can't really say too much, but he didn't want it. So I was like shocked by that. So I'm going to give this and I never can remember what I scored stuff previously, which is probably a good thing. I can never remember, but I'm going to say 94 out of 100. It's most excellent. But is it world class? Is it fabulous? The greatest thing ever? No, because there's a lot of good barrel aged stouts you can get, and you might even get them for a little bit cheaper. All right, so
okay. So I'll give my rating now too. So mine, I'm going to give mine a 95, and I'm giving it for what it is. It's a milk stout on nitro, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, well put together. It's a solid A, and I highly recommend it. And you don't have to add bells and whistles to it because that's all it is, a nitro beer. And
what did you say? 95?
95. So it's an A solid A.
Yeah.
It can't be an A plus because maybe this type beer could never be a 99. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean it's only 6%. It's not to be
25 IBUs. It's creamy. It has good stuff going for it, but it's highly recommended. And like I say, even though it's not exactly an entry level beer, it could be. Like, this is certainly something which you could have. Let's say you're trying a Guinness draft at 4.2. You try that first. You see if you like it. And if you like that, this would be a nitro, would be a good one to try, even though you could get one of the widget beers in the widget cans from either Murphy's or Guinness or whatever, and try it in a widget can and get the same kind of nitro effect for sure if you want. But this bottle action where you pour it down the middle does the same thing that the widget does. It still gives you that look to it and that very creamy. I guess it's the lactose too that does it. Yeah. But it's highly recommended, and also it's widely available. Left Hand has good distribution, so you
really good. Yeah, without a buyout.
Yeah, they're still a private company as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anybody's bought them out.
No, they haven't been bought out.
So they still have good distribution. You could go into your local grocery store and find Left Hand product, which is a good thing for sure. And another point, I don't think InBev or these other big companies, Heineken, buying the company out automatically means that their distribution increases. It depends whether the places they want to go into is willing to accept the stuff, that they're selling. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It goes both ways. You still have to give shelf space. How does Matherns decide which beers to give promotion space to? Do they have to check that beer out and they give it an end cap, let's say, if they're pushing something?
I think it's a big, it's probably almost impossible to pin down, but I think it's a combination of things like, here's a distributor that has given us some really gold mines in the past. Doesn't mean they won't give us duds in the future. But it's like this company might have given them some great stuff over the years and they have a big account. Well, if they have a big account, what are you going to do? Tell them no? So they might pressure them. I mean, a lot of times you can tell that the manager doesn't really want to do it. He's like, I don't know if anybody, I don't think anybody's going to buy that. Oh yeah. You know, these salesmen, they're always going to say the same thing, right? Oh, this is going to be a winner. This is it. This is the big thing, you know?
Right.
And
So
he's
it's
thinking, yeah, uh-huh.
so it's public relations to a big account that you do a lot of business with to kind of show them that you're loyal, kind of in a way. So you're
Well,
willing.
yeah, because you can't really fight them too much because they provide maybe 25% of your beer. So what are you going to do? Be hard against them? And they, you know, they could just say, well, fine, we leave and buy. You know, I mean, so they
No, I
kind of
got you.
hit you over a barrel.
I got you. And in the way the United States is set up with the system with distributors, they really do have you quote unquote over the barrels or whatever. So yeah.
Right. So like I'll give you a good example, like this stuff from Anheuser-Busch years ago, this Occulto, this tequila barrel aged or barrel treated beer. The distributor was like hammering them, you know, you got to do this. This is it. This is a big thing. And they were like, I don't think there's anybody who wants to drink beer aged in tequila barrels. Okay. And they were like, no, this is it. So they put it out there. They put this display up. The first weekend, they sold a lot because, you know, everybody tried it. After that, what's happening? They're sitting on it and they're like, oh, well, what happened? I thought it was the next big thing. And so the distributor is going to give their stock answer. Well, you know, everything doesn't develop according to predictions or what we had or expectations. But we give you all the Bud Light, so you kind of have to do what we demand that you do. So, you know, you never saw a Culto again. So I had the man tell me, he said, look, we sell more Bud Light on a weekend than we sell craft beer in a month. We cannot tell them no.
I understand.
Because for every dollar you lose, you're making $99. So you're willing to lose $1 because you get $99 guaranteed every month. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Look, I think Bud Light sales have really gone way ahead of the straight Budweiser sales now, and that must be their primary moneymaker in their whole Budweiser line is the Bud Light more than anything.
Yeah, it's the primary one. But Budweiser has dropped to number 4 in the country.
I'm saying it's still the king of beers because and that name still attached to it.
Well, it's number 4 in the United States, but it's number 1 in the world. You know, in the world.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Well, anyway, as far as promos, do you have any promos to
Nothing specific. Hopefully, John will be back next Sunday to host Stout Sunday. It's great when you're able to step in for him because then we can continue doing this, which I really enjoy doing. Other than that, you know, I try to either come in on your show. You'll tell us what your Wednesday show is this week. I don't know what it is. I don't know what Bumpy's doing about Malty Monday. I know this last Monday was his last one, if he's going to do something else in addition. And you got Beer and Cheese Tuesday with Beer Man. So, I mean, there's still stuff going on. But you can let me know. What's your theme event for Wednesday?
Okay, let me talk about that. So Bumpy Road said, look, he was doing 2 video hangouts a week. He was doing Sunday night after dark. And then he was doing Malty Monday. He said, but it was really bad because when he did Sunday night, he had to go to work the next day, and it was really early, like get up really early. So they're drinking, dark beer this, dark beer that, yeah, boy. And he said the next day he's at work, he's like, I didn't get any sleep, you know. And he's like, he couldn't wait for that to end. So what he liked doing, not to say he didn't like doing it, he liked to do it. But when you're at work and you got 4 hours sleep, that's not good. So Malty Monday was good, but Malty Monday was a specific thing. Go through each beer style and talk about it, and then you're done. So he said he was thinking, good, good, good. It's ending. So then finally Monday ended because he couldn't find any more beer styles to review. And then he was getting to the point where nobody would show up because nobody could find the stuff. So he said, well, good. It's over. We did it. It was nice. We had a good time. Now it's over. So he said now he took Sunday nights after dark and he moved it to multi-Monday slot. So now Monday night is going to be after dark beers. He said then he can relax and have a good time, do dark beers. He doesn't have to wake up the next morning for work and be like miserable the whole day. And then Sunday is off out of the picture. He can go to sleep and be rested for work. So I thought to myself, that's a good idea. You know, I mean, there's no doing beer reviews is nice, but when you got to be miserable at work the next day because you got 4 hours of sleep, no, forget that. No good. I know you'd agree with that.
I do.
I don't know what he does for a job. I never asked him. I don't pry into people's private lives. I figure if they want me to know, they'll let me know. It's irrelevant anyway. Wednesday night we have beers for fall. The next Wednesday is beers for fall. The following and last Wednesday of the month is beers for autumn, which is the same as fall. Now, someone asked me, they said, well, what beer should I bring for fall? I mean, what do you mean beers for autumn, beers for fall? I said, well, you need to use your professional judgment. It's very difficult to quantify that. So I'm not going to sit here like a dictator and tell you what beers you think should be drunk during fall. But, you know, you could use some kind of sense. If you show up with Bud Light, people might question because that's a beer people would drink all year long, and it's not specifically geared toward colder weather, you know. And so I think we don't have to explain it because it's kind of obvious. You know what I mean, Michael?
I mean, you could have a winter warmer in the fall because it's in the mid-season in between fall and winter kind of thing, I guess.
You could. So that whole theme gives a lot of width to people's. Now, if somebody shows up with a pumpkin beer, how could we take issue with that? It's fall, Thanksgiving, people eat pumpkin pie. So yeah, okay, fine. I have some good ideas. I think maybe they'll not, but I think they will be good. And hopefully people will join. If not, I'll go solo. But as far as Dawn Busters, well, tomorrow night I'm going to do a Dusk Buster. I have 2 Canadian whiskeys. Are these famous? No. Have they been on the market for decades? Yes. Do people buy them? Obviously, because Total Wine is not going to stock stuff that does not sell. Okay? I mean, it's common sense. But I didn't pay a lot, so I don't care because I paid a minimal amount for Canadian Gold, which is more like Canadian Bronze, but anyway. And then McAdams, yeah, it's fine. Is it going to be? It will be a challenge because they're so identical. It'll be very difficult to tell one from the other. Then Friday, we're doing Fandango Friday, which is liqueurs. And I understand this. I understand. Some people tell me, oh, I hate liqueurs. They're like thick, syrupy, disgusting, flavored vodka, and I can't stand them. I say, I understand that. We do it on Fridays because it's kind of fun to try to taste all the flavors, but we understand what we're dealing with. Liqueurs are popular. I don't drink them. I have never drunk them. I have none in my possession except for the ones that are reserved for Fandango Friday. But they're interesting, and some of them do have authentic flavors, like the orange. It tasted like they took oranges and crushed them up and put the peelings in. So that's interesting. But if you're very oppositional to it, I get it. I get it. And then so that's it. I don't know what else to say. So, well, I guess that brings us to the end of another Stout Sunday.
It was nice having the extra hour of sleep.
Yeah, but the only problem is I woke up at 12:49 a.m.
That's not good.
So I went to church, and the priest, he might have looked over at me, thought, am I that boring? He wasn't boring at all. He was making a good speech, but I was I was sitting there like this, and it was like totally unintentional. I was like this. Look, Michael.
I mean, you're catching a few extra sleep because you got up so early.
I kept noticing, and I would sit there noticing, oh, I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. So then, like, it happened like 4 times. And I timed it. He made a sermon that lasted 12 minutes. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That's good. You should be a good person. You should not, be a greedy person. And then I was like,
hey, I missed 45 seconds.
well, that's what happens when you wake up at 12:49 a.m. But I slept like a baby. I went to sleep at nightfall. I was out like a rock. I slept 7 solid hours. The cat didn't wake me up too much. And I have a feeling you had a good night's sleep.
I had a really good night's sleep, and I was up. What time did I get up? Like 9 o'clock, which is.
I was out walking the second half mile at 9 o'clock.
But it's cool. And these beer things, if nothing else, keep a group of people who do watch the show into stouts and porters on Sunday and all the other styles that we do on all the other shows that go on. So I think it's a positive thing. I
think it is. And so if y'all want to watch some kind of like wildness on Monday night, because like Bumpy Road said, After Dark is a little bit risque. May not be for everybody, and people are going to see that and they're going to go all full bore on it. So I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, I never joined, but I'm sure they do a lot of good beers,
Spaten is good Oktoberfest, Isle of Fire.
I'll tell you what, I really honestly think that's the best Oktoberfest beer I've ever had. And I've had a lot, but it's just so good. I just was so disappointed to finish that last bottle of the 6-pack. Oh, what a beer.
I like the Paulaner Oktoberfest too, but it's not as good as the Spaten. I agree.
Those are good. All right. Well, Michael, thanks for joining. And we've gone a long time, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay, Jay, I'm happy at least we had 2 of us. So you didn't have to be on alone.
I wouldn't have minded, but I think it is a lot to ask. I don't know how many people are drinking beer at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. So, I mean, it's not.
People have drifted in and out. Jean comes on sometimes. Robert has been on in the past. Jeremy has been on. So it's not like there's nobody. It's just that it seems you don't get a steady group of people every week.
Don't get a steady group. And, and to be fair, Robert got very ill. He was
look, the times he's come back, I've been really happy because it shows he's coming back slowly. But you realize he doesn't want to get sick again, so he's just trying to take it easy.
When I got sick in December of 2020, okay, I got a little fever. I felt kind of run down, and I couldn't smell anything or taste anything for 10 days. No big deal. It was inconvenient. But it wasn't like Robert, who was in the intensive care unit for like weeks. That's not a joke.
For sure.
So
I guess everybody who's watching, we'll see you on other shows through this next week coming up.
Yep.
And Jay, thanks for hosting.
You're welcome. Thanks everybody for watching, and y'all take care now. Ice Beer Sunday.